we had been friends with for years. They never knew. And it started eating up at me. And when you're not authentic, you're not connecting with people.
Right.
You can tell when people are really not giving you their true selves. And I really wasn't giving people my true self. So when I shut my salon down 3 years ago and I named Toni Elaine my mother's name, that was a way for me and my brothers to always share that story, because I wasn't able to do that 5 years ago.
Because we were taught what happens in our house stays
in
in
our
our
house.
house.
We dying with it.
That's
You
what
better not tell
how
what's
we
going
were
on
taught.
there.
You better not.
So, I gotta get this off of me, you know?
So First Lady also mentioned the word discernment.
Yeah.
The truth of the matter is everybody can't handle your truth.
No, they can't.
And they don't deserve your truth. They don't even know
felt
what
like
to
that
do
too.
with it. So
I
when
agree.
God lays on your heart, when it's time to share that story, and He will, when it's time to share and what and what you need to share, then you act in accordingly and in obedience.
So, the title of our show is Let's Go There, right? So we've been having this kumbaya moment. But I want to look at it from a flip side, because a lot of times we don't share because we don't trust each other.
True.
Exactly.
Absolutely true.
We, as black women, we just don't. There's always this notion of competition, and we've been hurt by other women. I always said growing up, I had more male friends than female friends because women were messy. I didn't want to be bothered. I had to worry about they're going to take my boyfriend, and they talking about me behind my back. So I just didn't deal with females. And so it was only within probably the last 6 or 7, 8, 9 years that I've gotten to that point of women empowerment. So let's just talk about that for a moment of how does that affect our daily interaction with one another when we don't trust each other?
Can I start?
How do you get over that?
Yeah. So first, I told you guys I'm the oldest of 4 girls, so sisterhood has been a part of my life. But very much to what you just said, in high school, I found myself, my three of my closest friends were guys. And then I did have 3 close girlfriends, and I used to buy into that. You can't trust women, you can't trust women. And then as my life progressed and I got married, I had some huge betrayals of women. I was married to a man who was a diagnosed sex addict. And when I tell you every boundary on earth was crossed, he crossed it. If he could cross it, he would, with friends and family, in the church, out the church, everywhere. Yet, when it came to healing and overcoming that, it was only in a circle of women that I was able to do that. One, and bearing the truth of what was happening in my life and in my marriage, that other women were able to be honest with me and say, been there, sister, it's not the end. So I couldn't heal by saying, I can't trust women anymore. I was able to heal with my sisters. I was able to develop a new sisterhood of friends and joined a support group of other women who were living the same nightmare that I was. And so I'm so grateful that I was able to have, that God gave me that instead of saying, I'm not going to ever, and push me away from women, because we need each other. The walk of a woman, the spirit of a mother, there's nothing like being a mother. Only a mother gonna push through like your mother pushed through. And the stuff that we do for our children when we don't want to get up and do, that comes from a woman. And I'm just grateful that I can honestly sit here today and say I have been betrayed by women in every possible way possible. Yet I have also found the love and the embrace and the healing in a group of women. So it's just people are people, right? Yeah. You know who you can trust and who you can't trust.
Tia, you want to give any insight to that?
Well, I was raised with 3 brothers opposed to sisters. I didn't have any sisters. I didn't have to share. When growing up, I didn't have to do any of that. My first hurt came from women. And family members. So for me, I've always admired women. I've always loved to see women dressed up. I've always loved to see women in business. I've always been a support of women. I always felt like women weren't a support of me all the time. But I've always wanted to love on women, but I didn't know how to, because I felt like it was this thing of, she look a certain way or she acts a certain way. So I'm still a work in progress with bonding with women. When your first hurt comes from family members opposed to friendships, it can do something to you. And you don't even realize it, that you're not letting them in. So you're trying to find how to let women in. So I'm still working on that part of my life of allowing women to actually come in and we really have a real authentic relationship, because you do have that fear of, I think you have to get to a point where it's like you don't care if the relationship fails or not. I'm being me. I'm just being me in the situation. So, it's just trusting people with your stuff. Being able to have a sisterhood, which if you didn't have any sisters, you really don't need to know how sisterhood works. Because I'm accustomed, even though people say my brothers are like my sisters, I still want to know how having a real sisterly bond feels like, where people are not looking at all of this and they can tap into what's going on the inside.
First Lady, have you had any experience with that?
Many of you hear the term that people are in your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. Being similar to Tia, 3 brothers, the oldest. What I've always been a person where I knew how confidentiality has always been my gift. I guess I didn't realize what was going to come to it, where I can keep things to myself, and I've always been able to do that, where I will go through things by myself, deal with things by myself. It's interesting, the young ladies that we've been friends for 38 years, we went on a girls' trip like a year ago, and we started talking about our home environments growing up. Now, we grew up in elementary, middle, high school together, how much we did not know about each other. We saw each other every day. We were in sports together. We hung out together, but we did not know what was going on in our homes. And to see, how that carried on to when I got older, I realized that every woman has something in them that I need, that I connect with. And God has shown me that this woman has something I need spiritually, this one has something I need physically, this one has something I need mentally. So, example, giving birth to Jeremiah. I had to connect with other women who had special needs children, because you're the only one that's truly going to understand this moment that I'm going through, or this difficulty that I'm going through. Pastors' wives, it took years before, because I was a professional woman. I didn't get caught up. I meet people, my husband's name is John. I never got into, I was Pastor Ramsey's wife. And back then it wasn't the term First Lady, any of that. So I had to realize I do need to connect with some pastors' wives. Alicia, you have to be open. You can't be judgmental. And the same thing, I've had relationships where they failed or they were not confidential, the way I thought they should be confidential, and I had to learn to forgive. Forgiveness doesn't mean the restoration of trust. I forgive you, but I don't have nothing else to say to you, because I will go ghost in a minute. Right. But that is the thing I had to learn too, because I would go ghost on you, and they wouldn't even know what happened. It's like because your mouth leaks. You talk too much. You talk too much. Period. So I really, over the years, have learned I know how to be personable without being personal.
Exactly.
So I can make you feel like you're my best friend, but you don't know anything about me. But God had to let me see that there are some people, Alicia, that need to know you're having a difficult day, that you need to pray that with someone outside of yourself and with me. And I did not know how many women have that struggle. An event I had last year, PJs and Pearls, the power of accountability. And I asked women to come with their accountability partner, women who serve in ministry, professional women, women who have it going on. They didn't have an accountability partner. They said they didn't trust anyone, no one to be vulnerable with, no one to be authentic with. Blew my mind that all these women I love so much, to find out you got to talk to somebody else besides me. I'm the counselor. When we meet, I'm your counselor. I'm your spiritual counselor, but I'm not your accountability. Then you have to be accountable with someone else, but we've been hurt so much, and we've been so scarred and so damaged.
And First Lady, you say something very interesting, because it kind of parallels my life. My career, I'm a professional coach and a certified life coach. And folks come to me all the time with their problems, their situations, and I am always pouring into someone's life. And I often ask myself, who do I get to pour into? right? And I find myself going, well, gosh, I can't say certain things to certain people. And I used to say, it's not because I don't trust them, but I used to want to say, well, they're not ready for my truth, or can they handle my truth, or are they even self-aware enough for my truth? Can they help me move forward in my life? So I would often not trust that. I ain't sure because I saw how you handled other pieces of your life. So then I pulled back and said, I ain't saying nothing. I'll just keep on being dried out and pulled out. I'm empty because I'm trying to, help somebody else. So go ahead, Sassy. I see you trying to get in there.
No, I was saying you got me.
Yeah.
But if you're telling somebody else's business, I'm thinking like, I'm watching the way you talking about somebody else.
Yeah, I'm like, that won't be me.
Flag. But it's interesting. I'm laughing, looking at Cassandra because I'm so protective in that, if she shares something with me, in my mind, don't you tell nobody else. Yeah. Don't you talk to nobody else. So I'm like that with myself, but then I protect my spiritual daughters like, keep that. I don't get that out there because I don't want to see them get hurt. But then God said, you got to let them understand. They got to be able to trust people as well. But I've seen too many women hurt because their business gets out in the street from someone they trusted.
We're going to introduce you because you're new to the set.
Yes, you're new to the conversation.
Yeah.
And so before we introduce her, because I always like to make sure we have a thread that ties everything together. So as we're talking about, our lack of trust and just some difficulties, also we want to continue to think about too how when we release that, it continues to make us strong. When we realize that fact that I do need to trust and I will trust and I'm doing a better job of doing that, it makes us even more strong as we continue our womanness going through this life, right?
Yep. Go ahead. And that's so funny because I did text First Lady probably about a week ago. I was telling her I was going to be sharing something. She's like, wait a minute. Are you sure you're ready to say that now? And I got it. At first I was like, I thought she was going to be like, girl, I'm so proud of you. She was like, wait a minute. And I thought about it, like, she really is looking out for my best interest of, are you ready to tell the world your truth?
Yeah.
So, yes. Miss Charla is in the building. Charla Salone, a.k.a. the Hair Oracle.
I wore mine to 2 work. We know how it goes.
Share a little bit with the people about who you are, Miss Charla.
I am Charla Salone. I am a mother. I love God. I am a wife. I am an entrepreneur. I'm an author. I am planning on being empty when I leave here. I want to share it all. Whatever God has for me, I want to use them.
Okay. And listeners, if you're listening and you have a question for our panelists, our guests, please feel free to call in 317-995-4030. Again, that's 317-995-4030. If you have a question or a comment, you want to make your voice heard, call in.
Absolutely. Okay, so we are continuing to talk about Black women yesterday and today. And I talked about Coretta Scott King earlier, and I want to talk about Madam C.J. Walker because we have, the Hair Oracle in the house. And, for most of you that know that Madam C.J. Walker was the first African-American entrepreneur. I mean, she was considered the wealthiest self-made woman at the time of her death in 1919. Her net worth at the time was $600,000. Today, I did the math. That would be worth over $9 million. She would be a multimillionaire today. Wow. So, man, think about the challenges that she had to go through back in the 1900s. Let me just share a few of them. She was the daughter of former slaves. She was orphaned at 7. She was married at 14. She was a mother at 17, and she was widowed at 20. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and I forgot she was Black. Mm-hmm. Right. So Charla, now I know you don't have those set of challenges, but talk to us about some of your challenges. I heard you say you're a mother, you love God, you're a wife, you're a business owner. I mean, share with us, what are some challenges?
Those challenges are going to be all of our challenges.
Amen.
It's just about the choices that we make. And so earlier we were discussing about trust. And I think I've learned over my journey with being a business owner, a mom, and just around women, I was sick of women. Please, I can't. But I love them. And I know that that's a part of my purpose.
I can't do it.
But I had to make a conscientious choice to choose to trust. Because that's where our power lies. So I can't connect with any of you if I can't trust you. And so if I don't trust nobody, where's my connection going to be? Disconnected. And so, just in those challenges, when you speak of Madam C.J. Walker, her mentor was Annie Malone, who had